Wow, lots to go on. So, but you know, we're just going to do this project one step at a time. First step, obviously, is to take the ceiling panels down. We've got those down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the T-bar grid system. Now, in the old days, they did things a little bit different. Nowadays, they pop rivet everything to tie in all these dividers. These are been attached with nails and bent over. Okay, we're gonna have to pull those off. And I thought they had nails in this wall angle along the edge of the cabinets. Well, luckily, they're just screws, okay? So all we have to do is get a drill and take those screws out. But before we do that, we're gonna take these divider pieces out. So I'm gonna have to undo those nails. And over here on this side, see they're nailed in here. There's little flaps on these. And I'm gonna pull out all the individual 2-foot tees, 3-foot tees, whatever, okay? So on a T-bar grid system, we're gonna take out the 4-foot sections first, or anything less than 4 foot. See this middle divider is called a main. That main, we'll take that out last, because all the 4-foot tees, these long pieces, the 4 foot or less, are called tees. We're going to take those out first, okay? Then we'll take this long divider out last. You know, step by step, you can do it. I guess this is the time where I should tell you, anytime you're working above your head or doing any sort of construction work, get yourself a little pair of clear goggles, or these are just like little sunglasses, and I'm going to use these. I forgot I had these in the car. I'm going to go ahead and use these. They're going to protect my eyes. If you don't have that, you got some sunglasses or something like that. If it's light enough, you could use something like that. And I'm just going to use some little gloves. These are very thin, and they're kind of rubbery on one side, and they're kind of nylon meshy on the other side. If I get them dirty, I can rinse them off and let them dry out, and they dry out really quick. And I just use something like this. If you use something too bulky, then it's hard to use your fingers and use your tape measure and all kinds of stuff with these little gloves on, okay? So be prepared for your project. Okay, so the next step, I've got the nails. I've got all the ends undone, okay? So now I've got to take it and remove it from this. You're going to wiggle it back and forth and try to lift up on it. And in this case, I can't lift up very high because the fluorescent light fixture is there. I'm going to slide this over like this, and this side is kind of poked into a little slot. You got to pull that out. Son of a gun, there it is. There's your first piece. Dude, you're doing it. Now, if you got T-bar system and if there's pop rivets on the end of them, you just take an 1/8" drill bit, you look at the pop rivet, and you just drill right up through it with the drill bit, and that's going to pop it off. Or if you don't have something like that, you can take a putty knife and stick in there, you know, a putty knife that's an old one, and then you can tap on it and snap that off, okay? Get that, slide this out, see there? We're going to do that just all the way around. It's not that difficult to do this. I don't want you getting kind of concerned about a T-bar grid system that you need to get replaced or get removed. Slide that, wiggle it, and voila, it comes down. You know, maybe you don't know what to do after this, but you can remove this T-bar system yourself. Now this one here has a nail at the end because it's in a sheetrock ceiling, so I'll have to pull that out first. Okay, but basically I wanted to show you on this grid system how to get these off. Let's do this one here. Wiggle it back and forth. And try to get it off. Now I'm going to show you a tip. You can't get that off like that and you're having a problem with it. I'm going to show you, hopefully I think there's enough light here. I'm going to resituate my light here. I want you to see this. This is a tip for you. We're going to take some tin snips, okay? And I'm gonna cut the T-bar, and usually there's enough room to do this because there's no ceiling there. So I'm gonna cut the top of this, okay? And I'm just gonna snip it down like that. Now I'm gonna swivel this out, then I'm gonna bend that right there. Okay, now I can use that as a lift. I can lift it up and down, sideways like this, up and down like that. Kaboom, it comes right out. There's the tip for you. Okay, this one, so I don't have enough room to raise this. Oh, there it goes. It came out nice and easy. And sometimes it will. Sometimes you got to put a little screwdriver on the back side of that, and you'll see how they snap in. Okay. There. Let's get this other one out. Slide it, wiggle it back and forth. Wiggle it that way maybe. And it should pop out. And if it doesn't, use your little trick that I showed you with the tin snips. Now on most T-bar grid systems, usually you got these mains, and the mains are generally longer than 4 feet. They're usually 12 feet long, or depending on how long your room is, and then they connect those in for end for end for end. And those are the ones, they're a little bit stronger and stouter than the 4-foot T's, and those are generally the ones that they tie up to the ceiling, and then your 4-foot T's get attached to that, and generally you don't have to tie up your 4-foot T's with any wire. Now this was in the old days, so they only have some little wire right there. Nowadays they'd have a different type of wire, but they just use a little piece of baling wire there, and they attach it up there with a nail, and they bend it over and twist, twist, twist. They held that up. And twist, twist, twist right there. They held that up. So that's the only two spots. I can cut those or unwind those wires, or just cut those wires. Then I can remove this long main support. Okay, for this, I've got a sheetrock nail that's attached this main in there, and because it's going to be hard to get that out, I'm just going to use my tin snips, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the main, okay, before I take the wires off of it, so it's not going to fall on my head or anything. Okay, so when you cut a main or tees or anything, you know, for demo, we're going to cut that, and then we're going to cut these sides. It doesn't have to be pretty because we're just going to throw this away. Okay, cut half that side and just eyeball it and cut the other half. Okay, now I can just take that and move it up and down, twist it back and forth, whatever. Now see, I can take that off when I take the rest off. Now see, this is just hanging in the breeze now, like that. Okay, I'll get you a little dizzy here. I got to do the same thing to that end. They attached the wall angle with screws, and they attached the mains with nails. I can't figure that out. That's the old days for you. Okay, they don't do that kind of stuff anymore. That would not be per code. An inspector would shoot you down every time. Okay, so instead of messing around with that sheetrock nail, I'm just gonna cut this out of there. Okay, that's why I have not undone the wires to hold this main up yet. See? There you go. Just take that and bend it over. Okay? Simple enough. At this point, you're probably wondering to yourself, oh, what have I done? I've just ruined my ceiling. There's no going back at this point, is there? You're just gonna have to keep moving forward. You've already made your decision that this is what you wanted to do. I remember that's what you said. And we're gonna have to cut that. I scored it, and man, these cutters, oh, these cutters are about ready to break. They're not working here. You get some cutters, you can usually just snip this right off. Okay, I got one. Oh. I tried to use these cutters one time to cut a screw, and they weren't that strong, and then I tried to rebend it when I got done, and they're messed up. I'm going to have to get some new cutters. Okay, just make sure you kind of hang on to this as you're cutting it, and be aware of your existing surroundings so that you don't poke anybody or scratch yourself or ram that into a light fixture or the wall or anything like that, okay? Take your time with this. It's not a race. Now with this long T, this long main actually, you know, to throw it away, yeah, you can bend it all up and stuff, but if you want to do it a different way, you can take your cutters, cut the back side, flip it up like that, and cut it off. Okay, simple as that. You can throw those in the dumpster that way, or your garbage can. You have a garbage can, you don't want to take up as much space, fold it and cut it. Okay, those are like four foot T's now. Okay, just bend it and cut it off. You either got that choice or you bend it all up. Once you start bending it, obviously, it's not going to fit in the garbage can as much, and you're going to take up a lot of room. And I don't want to start bending that all up here on the floor. This is a brand new linoleum floor, so I got to be careful. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.